Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Breakup Bible, The Smart Woman's Guide to Healing from a Breakup or Divorce, by Rachel Sussman, narrated by Susan Boyce. Introduction. If you have experienced the ending of a romantic relationship, you are not alone. Every day, women all over the world suffer from debilitating breakups or divorces. In a split second, the life you know evaporates. The pain can feel agonizing, all-encompassing, and eternal. Many describe that the actual breakup and ensuing weeks feels like an out-of-body experience. I often hear women exclaim, "This can't be happening to me." Along with the suffering comes a roller coaster of complex feelings: embedded grief, abandonment and fear, guilt, monstrous rage. I've witnessed completely healthy people behave insanely when they have been rejected. Right now, you may be thinking that your life will never get better and that you can't live without your ex. I'm here to tell you that life does get better, and not only can you live without him, but in time you'll see that it is even possible to thrive. Thriving can entail creating an entirely new and healthier life for yourself, including regaining trust, self-confidence, and love. This book gives you the evidence to believe that and the tools to make it happen. So please keep an open mind and allow me to lead you out of your sorrow and into a much improved state. Through the process of loving and losing, we have the capacity to learn tremendous life lessons. When viewed wisely and with insight, we learn who we are as individuals and as partners. We gain knowledge about what we did correctly, and when we're astute, we learn where we erred. We come away from the experience fuller and wiser. Although breakups can feel unbearable, we don't die from them. The old adage, "If it doesn't kill you, it will make you stronger," is definitely true in this circumstance. The most interesting humans are multifaceted, having experienced pleasure and pain. They have survived, and so can you. Many factors inspired me to write this book. Breakups and divorces are one of the biggest reasons that people come to me for therapy. Over the past several years, I have witnessed the demise of lengthy relationships affecting close friends, relatives, and clients. I was moved by their suffering and incredibly inspired by their strength as they slowly regained their lives and eventually recovered. I too am quite familiar with the unbearable sadness that comes when a relationship ends. Regrettably, I spent too many years nursing a continually broken heart after several failed long-term relationships. I made decisions that weren't always in my best interest, that chipped away at my self-esteem, and that kept me in a state of suspended melancholy. Never once did I stop to evaluate my behavior or see that there were other ways to live my life. One day, a close male friend sat me down and said, "Rachel, you are such a great girl and have so much to offer. I scratch my head wondering why you are constantly dating toxic men when so many nice guys ask you out. I really hope you can figure this out, because I am worried about you." I trusted this friend. He was kind and mature, the type of guy I never would have dated back then, and we really understood each other. After our talk, I suspected that I had some issues that needed tending when they came to romance. That conversation was the catalyst for what eventually would become my change and growth. I strongly believe that anyone can alter undesirable feelings and behaviors and completely turn his or her life around. You simply need two components: the wish for change and the motivation to do something about it. Sometimes it takes a crisis to get us to contemplate the opportunity for resurrection, and that's how it happened for me. I committed to figuring out what was interfering with my ability to have a successful love connection. I immediately stopped dating and spent a solid year in counseling, meticulously examining my entire life to search for answers. As difficult as this work was, and believe me, it was tough, I trusted that it was a huge chance for me to come to a place of great understanding, strength, and growth. My work eventually paid off, and I was finally able to connect the dots and see what had transpired in my earlier life that was driving my less-than-stellar dating track record. From that moment on, I fully committed to an entirely new way of dating and living. I would not be here today as a happily married woman and an expert on breakups and divorces if I didn't put in my time to take a revealing look at myself and pledge to learning new and healthier behaviors. I am now going to take you on a journey to teach you everything that I learned, plus so much more. I can't wait to watch your sorrow turn into spectacular growth, as did mine. Once I began my initial research for this book, I discovered a few common themes shared by women I spoke to. They were ready to begin a journey of personal recovery and requested the advice, tools, and support needed to make it happen. They wanted an intelligent and realistic resource, such as a book, for women that deals with both the emotional havoc caused by the ending of a relationship and how to recover and move on. All were eager to hear tales about other women who had been through similar situations and recovered. I seriously pondered these valuable comments. Women were telling me exactly what they were lacking and what resources they needed to recover. I started meeting with women who had been through difficult breakups or divorces and had survived their ordeals in impressive ways. I then started sharing their stories with others in earlier stages of recovery. Upon hearing these narratives, women reported feeling comforted, validated, and vindicated. One declared, "This is the first day I've felt better in months," after I read her a tale with similarities to her own. I had identified the power of shared experience. Just as with addiction, sexual abuse, or physical illness, when a person who is suffering hears from someone who has gone through what she's going through and has come out the other side, she feels understood and encouraged. She feels compassion and validation from a healing community. Additionally, I discovered that the healing went full circle. Women were healed by both listening to stories and telling their stories. This is what you are about to experience with the Breakup Bible. Using the ancient art of storytelling, I created a community for you to listen to others who have gone through experiences similar to your own. This will allow you to feel validated, which will expedite your healing. Please allow yourself time to grieve, be comforted, and be educated. You're welcome to become part of this kinship for as long as you require it. Our community. It was of great importance to me to introduce you to a cast of exemplary women who have made their share of mistakes, done their work, learned their lessons, and fully recovered. All of their stories are genuine, yet some of their identities and personal facts have been changed at their request. Although all special in their own ways, just like you, every woman who appears in this book has something profound to offer. I have learned so much from their stories, their hardships, and their bravery, and I hope you will too. They will tell you their tales and leave you with anecdotes. I think that you'll see a bit of yourself in each one, which will help to validate your own personal experience. Each woman is at a different stage in the recovery process, but all of their suffering has ended, and they have moved on. Many proclaim to be leading their best life ever, and one day, so will you. Please understand that these women are your sisters. They are neither more nor less extraordinary than you. Some may be a bit further along in their recovery, but please use that knowledge to motivate and try not to get frustrated. Remember that every woman's recovery runs along a spectrum, and your healing is unique to you. I have tried to make my community as inclusive as possible. I spoke with women from varied age groups, ethnicities, socioeconomic backgrounds, and sexual preferences. Some have children and others are childless. I have discussed breakups with women who were left by their significant others and those who did the breaking up themselves. There is a myth floating around that those who are left experience more pain than those who leave. This is a complete untruth. Please keep in mind that endings affect us all in profoundly different ways. Some of you have lived through the catastrophe of infidelity, while others have gone outside of your relationship as a remedy for the alienation you have endured from being with the wrong partner. If you discovered your partner's infidelity, that reality is agonizing. If you desperately wanted to save your relationship and your ex had no interest in that plan, that rejection is awful. But it is equally horrid to live day by day in a relationship where you feel misunderstood, controlled, abused, or lonely, and you are petrified of letting go out of fear or the thought of causing irrevocable harm to your ex or your innocent children. Whether you have been abandoned by your lover or were the one who ended your relationship, we are all in this together. No woman's suffering is worse than the next one's. It is just different. It is not for any one of us to judge who has it harder or easier, because it is all messy and difficult. We are a sisterhood here. Everyone is invited to listen, learn, share, and participate. All that matters is that you are doing the work and giving yourself hugs and accolades along that way. Just the fact that you are listening to this book proves so much. If you are determined to recover, rest assured, you will. How to listen to this book. The Breakup Bible is divided into 3 sections: healing, understanding, and transformation. My unique and proven method for recovery. In the healing phase, I will explain that proper healing is a marathon, not a sprint. I'll encourage you to be patient with yourself, to care for your body and soul, to build a cohesive support system, and to navigate your emotions. Understanding is a crucial phase that is typically omitted or minimized in books on this topic. In this phase, we will explore and eventually uncover the psychological ramifications of your relationship choices, patterns, and ultimately your breakup. Doing this work and owning the implications of what you discover is the only closure you will ever need. Understanding also introduces you to many new concepts, including the creation of a personal love map. Your personal love map was formed the moment you were born. Deciphering your map reveals why you chose your lover, how you behaved in the relationship, and how you mourned your loss. With your emotions in check and a full understanding of your breakup under your belt, you are ready to be launched into your new life. This is the premise behind the transformation phase. In each chapter, I will give you important information and useful tools that will allow you to experience your breakup and the more challenging aspects of your recovery in healthy and productive ways. Each chapter builds upon the preceding one. At the end of each chapter, I offer a review list that can easily be called upon whenever you need a refresher course. Feel free to listen to each chapter or favorite sections over and over again. It may also be helpful for you to listen with a notebook or journal next to you. This book is designed to be a focused and interactive solution. I want you to dig deep, question yourself, and take notes. If you take your time, keep an open mind, listen carefully, and do the exercises, and follow the plan, you will recover. You will also emerge armed with new insight and confidence, which will enable you to make better and healthier choices in the future. This book is about hope. You will heal. You will survive. You will thrive and move on to live your best life yet. Part 1. Healing. Quote, "There is no remedy for love but to love more." Thoreau. 1. A room of one's own. Finding comfort in the early stages of grief. Quote, The first months after our breakup are still a blur to me. I was in terrible shape. I could barely get out of bed. I missed work. I was in shock at first. I kept thinking that it was a huge mistake, and he would come to his senses and come back to me. When he didn't, I was completely devastated. I didn't know if I was coming or going. I was an absolute wreck. It was an awful moment in time, but it's way behind me now. Gia. A window into your soul, assessing the damage. The breaking apart of a romantic relationship is an extraordinarily painful event, whether you've been dating for a year or married for 30. Even if you initiated your split, you are going to be overcome with interminable sorrow. You are not only mourning the loss of someone significant in your life, but saying farewell to your dreams of an eternity together. The first weeks and months tend to be the most treacherous in the road to recovery. Pervasive grief invades your existence. You question everything, including your self-worth, your choices, your career, your friendships, everything. Numerous thoughts, feelings, and emotions run through your brain. The majority of the women I interviewed had at least half of the following experiences. You're in shock, unable to comprehend why your relationship ended, or feeling as if it can't be happening to you. You feel devoid of feelings, numb and detached. You wonder if you can ever trust again, if the pain will ever subside, and if you will ever feel joy or happiness again. Depression and despondency permeate your body and soul. You feel hopeless, helpless, unable to cope. Your self-esteem is shot. You have lost your ability to concentrate and feel ill-equipped to make decisions. You have anxiety and anxiety attacks as early-stage symptoms. You feel paralyzed with fear and dread, unable to sit still. You tremble and shake, have heart palpitations, and trouble breathing. You understand intellectually that your relationship is over, but you cannot accept it emotionally. Some days you are convinced you can salvage it, or that in time your partner will return. You are unable to control your emotions. You can't contain yourself. You cry or rant constantly and call friends obsessively. You feel embarrassed that your relationship ended. You're ashamed to tell anyone and you feel humiliated. You contact your ex repetitively via phone, emails, texts, or Facebook. Or you may find yourself glued to your telephone, waiting for it to ring. If you are ending a marriage, you have the lengthy process of divorce to consider. You feel incredibly overwhelmed thinking about what you'll do and how to divide the life you and your ex have accrued. You are obsessed about your breakup. These thoughts intrude most of your day, and you dream about your ex at night. You recreate and dissect the last moments, weeks, and months, again and again. The final conversation loops through your brain repetitively. If you have children, you worry about how they will handle the separation and feel guilt-ridden that you have imposed psychological damage on them. You feel too inundated to deal with parenting. You are filled with self-blame, self-loathing, doubt, and regret. You're convinced that you blew it. You think, if I were only a better partner, if I were more loving, giving, attentive, if I only did this better, if only. You are filled with rage. You have huge, uncontrollable outbursts of anger. If your ex supported you, or carried part of your financial load, you are frightened about finances. If your relationship ended over your partner's affair, your healing is even more complicated. You feel completely betrayed, blindsided, shaken, and shocked. Your sense of justice, order, and good in the world has evaporated. You think that your final ship has sailed. Time is running out. You wonder if you'll ever meet someone again, if you'll be able to bear children. You have trouble eating and sleeping. Weight loss and insomnia are quite common after a breakup, or you eat too much and sleep excessively. You feel unlucky, victimized, as if nothing ever works out right for you. You're steeped in self-pity. You feel completely overwhelmed and out of sorts. Food shopping, caring for your home, and washing your clothes seem like insurmountable tasks. Or perhaps you have unending manic energy. You've refolded every item in your closet and can't stop cleaning. You may be filling up every single waking moment with plans, or sitting at home completely isolated. The importance of validating your feelings. Perhaps you recognize yourself in some of these statements, or possibly you have experienced them all. Every single declaration represents the normal range of emotions that we experience after a separation. The first step that you must do on the road to recovery is to validate each emotion you are feeling as natural. Let me take this opportunity to offer you my sincerest condolences over the sorrow that has befallen you. Breaking up is so incredibly difficult. What could possibly prepare you for this monumental heartache? I know it can feel all-encompassing and very scary. I've been there, and so have millions of others. You are now officially submerged in the early stages of breakup grief. Life has become a daily barrage of emotionally charged thoughts and feelings, uncharted territory for most. Many discuss feeling absolutely insane as they observe their moods swinging wildly back and forth like an out-of-whack pendulum. You are entering a whole new and frightening world. You are feeling and thinking things that are quite foreign to you. It's very important to take the time to validate your feelings. It will allow you to see that you are right where you should be, which will help to ease the anguish you are experiencing. Unfortunately, the validation you crave rarely comes from your ex, which can be extremely upsetting. We go through all sorts of machinations to try to get our partners to take responsibility, yet only a few do. And often friends and family members, although well-meaning, cannot fully understand the gravity of your situation, which can be equally frustrating. The absence of having your experience acknowledged can make you feel even more alone. If you haven't found a way to validate yourself, it's important that you do so right now using this book and my words to enhance your healing. Please remember, you are allowed to feel what you feel. This is your essential right. It is okay that you feel miserable, and it is absolutely necessary that you accept your grief. Validating yourself and feeling your feelings is a vital part of the healing process. Taking time to grieve, making peace with your discomfort. Quote, "The first few months after my marriage ended were just horrific. I was extremely devastated, yet kind of numb. After that, the tears came, rivers upon rivers of tears. Sadness of such depth like I'd never experienced before. I hated the way I felt, and went through all sorts of motions to try to escape. I finally realized that I needed to stop running and find a safe place to work with my emotions. Finding that place helped me survive." Helene. Quote, "Immediately after my breakup, I scheduled myself 24/7. I ran myself ragged trying to avoid my pain. That was a mistake and made me feel pretty depleted. Finally, I slowed down, and that's when I started feeling better. I realized I needed time to grieve, time to clarify my situation. You must leave time for reflection. It's extremely important and very worthwhile." Abby. In order to survive the early stages after a breakup, you have to make peace with your sorrow and accept the realization that it's going to stick around for a while. I understand that the idea of patience and gradual healing is counterintuitive to most. Unless you are a naturally patient person, and most of us, including me, are not, practicing the art of tolerance is no easy feat. Our natural inclination towards suffering is to press the fast-forward button and get out of the experience as quickly as possible. But bucking up against how you are feeling right now will accomplish little. In fact, it can backfire and make you feel even worse than you already do. It is important to try to master patience and to realize that there are many valuable lessons for you to learn at this juncture. Your journey will be much more comfortable if you reconcile the fact that healing takes time and there are no shortcuts. Often women in the early stages after a breakup or divorce say, "When will I feel better? Why aren't I feeling better? I hate feeling this way." These statements are completely valid. Does anyone ever enjoy suffering? Of course not. It's extremely uncomfortable. It is a good thing to eliminate unnecessary suffering, but breakup suffering is necessary. It's an important step on the road toward healing, understanding, and transformation. Consider a spiritual response to suffering. According to the ancient Buddhist teachings, the way to end suffering is to follow a gradual path of self-improvement and enlightenment. Suffering will disappear when progress is made on the path. I think this philosophical approach makes a great deal of sense, and in time, you will too. Although the heartache can feel insurmountable, I promise you that if you do the work to process the ending of your relationship correctly, over time, you will recover fully. Together, we will navigate this rocky terrain and find healthy outlets for your pain. We will clarify your emotions, figure out why your relationship ended, gather useful tools, and crawl out of the hole. Although it may sound inconceivable today, it is highly probable that you will become your best possible self, healthier and happier than you could ever imagine. Taking care of yourself. Most of us are not comfortable with the notion of taking care of ourselves. Women are hardwired to care for others before thinking of ourselves. Recently, I attended a dear friend's milestone birthday celebration, which was for women only. During dinner, the conversation turned to summer plans, and one woman announced that she was visiting a spa with her family. I commented that I thought it was a lovely idea, and perhaps I would visit a spa in the future, on my own. A woman sitting next to me, whom I barely knew, replied, "Oh, you'll never go." Her comment intrigued me. She didn't know me, yet she was predicting that I wouldn't do what I just said I would. "Why would you say that?" I inquired. "Because you're a woman. You put your family first. You put your job first. You put everything ahead of taking care of yourself. This is what I do too. This is what we all do." Her words startled me, yet they were true. We are caregivers as opposed to caretakers, and there is a greater percentage of women than men in our country caring for children, spouses, and parents. We are programmed to go, 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 putting the needs of our family, friends, and lovers way ahead of our own. In fact, many of us measure our self-worth by this selfless behavior. I'm asking you to break the mold and find a way to put yourself first, to take care of yourself, to take your own nurturing seriously, even though it may initially feel very strange. Mark it off on your calendar and pick a time for a daily meeting with yourself, a daily comfort session. This is a gift to yourself that you deserve. Creating a comfort zone. Quote, "After my divorce, when I was very down, a friend suggested I find a photograph of myself at the happiest moment of my life, frame it, and put it someplace where I'd see it every day. My husband had just moved out, and I decided to fix up my bedroom to be a sort of shrine to myself. I looked at this photo daily and remembered who I was when I was a happy person. Remind yourself that you can be that person again. You will be that person again. This worked for me, and it can work for you. Roberta." Quote, "The concept of taking care of myself was very new to me. I had to remind myself each day that it was my mission to allow myself to grieve. I turned my bedroom into a sanctuary. I immediately bought new bedding as a symbolic act, out with the old, in with the new. I didn't want any reminders of my ex. I used that room to relax, stay calm, sort through my feelings, and journal. I created a comfortable place where I could feel secure. Sabrina. What I'd like you to...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?